Girlfriends of a Certain Age special edition about graduation. I just had a son graduate from high school who is headed off to college. I've got all the feels. My dear co host, Lachey, has graduations for younger sons that she's going to share with you. And we are just going to talk about this season of graduations. We're talking to you now in June, and it's just, you've likely been invited to some ceremonies or parties, or you're anticipating them, and it brings up a lot for girlfriends of a certain age. So, girl, hot take, how you feeling in a nutshell about graduations?
It's so bittersweet.
Mm,
So bittersweet. In fact, in my notes, I've got the bitter and then I've got the sweet. And I feel like I have been preparing for these moments, right? Because my kids are younger than yours, uh, since like they were born. I remember holding my newborn and crying, and my husband comes in and he's like, "What's going on here?" And I'm just like, "He's gonna move away one day." And he was just like, "Whoa, we don't even have a handle on life right now, and you're worried about 18 years from now?" And I'm like, "Yes." And I do think that in some ways that's how we're wired.
yes.
And you said something at your child's graduation party that I was so honored to be at last weekend that was so similar. And I thought, yeah, right. This is why Jessica and I are tight like that. Like we are cut from the same cloth. I feel like our parenting journeys uh, obviously very different, but also similar. Like we're seeing and we're trying so hard to be awake and aware in every moment. And
Right.
even the sadness is really
Yes.
beautiful. There's
Yes.
something incredibly gorgeous about the like having this human who you grew in your body or however they came into your life, and they're we've done our job right, and they're going to fly.
Well, girlfriend, the fact that you said bittersweet in my short notes, guess what? I have written down bittersweet. I mean, that encapsulates it because it is part grief of what was and part sweetness and hope and beauty of what will become. And then it's just weird when you're in the moment of it. So I totally feel you about thinking ahead, right? It's like, oh, that seems like such a big deal. And then looking back, but it's like, how do we remain present in all of these like big moments of life? So yes, yes, and yes. Like we're sisters. Of course we both wrote down bittersweet.
Yeah. Yeah. So I've already cried twice today, just even getting prepared for this. And I realize there's been so much grief, and I've been really welcoming it and settling into it and having the crying jags and then having moments of just like also feeling hella free of like, oh, okay. So just to fill everybody in, my kids just graduated from elementary school and middle school. So now I've got was soon to have a freshman in high school and a freshly minted middle schooler. And yet it still brings up all those feelings for me. And I think for me, I'm letting go of that young childhood and that version of myself as a mother of young children. Like it just it hits different. It just, they're more grown up, mature. They still need me a lot, but they need me in a different way. That's freeing me up. I have so many ideas and irons in the fire. Well, you know me, I always have too many irons in the fire, but some of them I feel like I really, really, really want to see this through. And
Yes,
so it just feels different.
yes.
So yeah, there's like so much about that.
Well, I think too, one thing that I've been thinking so much about, Shay, is as they're graduating to a new thing and they're figuring it out and learning in real time, so are we. How is our new role? How is our new way of supporting them? It is going to be different. Like we had a routine, right? Every kind of phase gets into kind of a rhythm and a routine, and frankly, sometimes a rut. You're like, here we go again, driving you to school, or here we go again, looking at this. And then there's a new phase. And, I think we have our own freak out as the parents of like, wait, how we had, I almost like to think of my family as a constellation of stars, and that there's this orbit, there's this gravitational pull. And each time our kids move to a different level, it's like the constellation and the orbit shifts, right? And I don't know if I'm using the right space terms because maybe constellations don't move. Maybe it's more of a planetary thing, but just that, especially with Finn launching from high school and heading off to college, we are going to have a vacancy in our house. We're going to become a family of three under one roof. And this heart of ours is going to be way down in, Southern California now at San Diego.
Look,
And
I'm already crying.
what is that going to feel like? I
What is
know
it
it
gonna
brings up
feel
so many
like?
feelings. It brings up
Yeah.
so many feelings. But that's an opportunity for us too to kind of learn and grow. Like we're on this interesting path as their parents that is also the unknown.
Yeah.
And that's scary and beautiful all at once, right?
Yeah. It's so true. And I was thinking about you this morning. I was thinking about how, he's about to move away. I feel so emotional about your son moving away from you. But how beautiful that is because you've done such a good job and he has such a good head on his shoulders and he's one of the best men I know. And so
Hmm.
I know he's gonna do great. I know it's gonna be a great adventure for him. But then I also think about like what's it gonna be like for you to miss somebody who still lives in your house? Like he's not that little baby, that the beautiful story that you shared in the speech of like really noticing like, right, this is like my first moment of noticing he's going to go off and have his own life and live his own story.
For
And I was
listeners,
thinking
I
about
can
that.
for listeners, I can encapsulate it really quickly where it was the idea of in the living room where we actually had the party. I didn't even think about that, Shay, until we were having it. And I'm giving this, brief speech, which was totally embarrassing him, but who cares? About how when he learned to crawl and learned to move away from me for the first time and how he did it and he went, across the living room and then looked back at me and turned the corner where he was suddenly out of view and I burst into tears. It's like I can no longer see my child. That was the first like instance of that happening. And then you think about like every stage kind of has that. And this just feels like a continuation of that. That's what I had talked about. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I know.
And I'm so grateful to be able to feel those feelings and to feel them with you. And I know that you're feeling your feelings. And we have so much support, therapy and coaching and good friends and family. And like we're so
Yeah.
surrounded. I have so many people supporting me through this level of grief and newness and like another peeling a layer of the onion for my own self and for my boys and for your boys.
Yes.
And so I something I noticed is that during the week that my kids were both, getting promoted, right? It's not really a graduation for them, but they're both
But
moving out at the same time.
those are real. Every promotion, I bawled my eyes out. Let me tell you, every promotion, preschool, grammar school, middle, it's all symbolic. It all has weight. So, girl, it's big. It's big.
So I'm gonna try not to ugly cry, but yes, I'm having a lot of feelings here, y'all.
I
But
love you for that.
another gift of being in my 50s of like, I just feel my feelings have always
Yeah.
been there, but I didn't
Yeah.
always give myself permission to feel them in a moment or in a meeting or whatever. And
Right.
now, girl, I'm just like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna cry here for a minute. Carry on, y'all, and I'm still listening. I'm still here, but this is all part of it now, and I do not apologize anymore or hide it. Um, so here I am, just crying
I
on the
love you
open
for
internet.
that was one of the big things I wanted to touch on today, honey, was I've cried so much, especially over this last year, because, there's something about the final year of school and all of the last things, right? This is the last, winter break that we'll know. This is the last spring final semester for Finn. And I know he was feeling it big time too. But I think in all of those lasts, I was grieving each one and having that bittersweet, having cries along the way. And what's interesting is I don't know what the recipe is for everybody, but in crying and grieving along the way, it actually has made me at this stage, and girl, I have my moments still, kind of be able to be a little more level-headed about it. Like
Mm,
every little thing is something that I try to kind of process and feel into. Sure, I get big waves of grief sometimes, and I know they're gonna come. I know. I know when he leaves, that's gonna be a whole other thing. But, like, I feel like there's a nice opportunity along the way of being comfortable enough to be like, even when he got into colleges, I was so sad and glad because
yeah,
what does that mean? It means he's going away, and you're like, "Wait, I'm supposed to be nothing but happy." But no, every step is a little bittersweet. So, like, I guess just like you're saying at this age, allowing ourselves to be like, yeah, it's complicated. Each stage has then, I don't know, just kind of made it more like I thought at the graduation party, I'd be bawling my eyes out. I thought at the graduation ceremony, I'd be bawling my eyes out. I wasn't, but I was bawling my eyes out over the most random thing, like when I clicked on some permission slip for school for the last time. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
It
It's like
makes
in the
complete sense.
details. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so much. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful to be able to be on this journey with you and that we're doing kind of the same Z's kind of walk together. And I feel like I've always, even though I'm older than you, kind of looked up to you as like the big sister and like the in the parenting because you've been doing you were always ahead of me. You had both your kids before I had even my first. And so it's I've always been to now I'm also looking to you like how is she handling in this how does one be present in the moment of your firstborn
Huge.
who's gone.
It's huge. It's huge. I will say, like what you brought up before, the community, and I have my friends who are a couple years ahead of me.
Oh yeah.
Those people are priceless because you can just say, what did it feel like? What did you do? And they're not going to have the exact answer that you'll live through, but you get kind of, okay, this is the framework, this is what to expect. Like that has been golden. I mean, for instance, even my cousin who we did the co graduation ceremony with, which was also really meaningful, like that just worked out to be a beautiful thing where we have this huge family. It's like they're both graduating at the same time, let's do it together. It was really fun to plan it and do it with each other and share resources. But she gave us the best tip just the other day about like avoid triples in dorms as much as possible if you can, because
Oh,
there's so many dynamics with three people in one room, right? And just little things like that that you wouldn't know. But her poor daughter had to go through it the first year because I guess it turned out that each of her roommates each had partners who were coming over to their room. So
oh,
at any given time, there would be 5 people in that room. I'm like, "Oh, no, no, that sounds like a nightmare."
oh my gosh.
Because for a minute, Finn was like, "Oh, yeah, we could save a little. I can do a triple." And there was just part of me that was like, "I don't know, man. That just seems like a lot." And then hear it to kinda, like, verify your gut. You're like,
Yeah,
okay, that's why I thought that was a lot."
yeah, I totally.
Or for fun, you could have the opposite, which was another dad who was at the party, whose son is a dear friend of Finn's. He had a double. His son, I'm sorry, no, his roommate was always at his girlfriend's place, and their arrangement was that our friend had to cover for him because his parents were like old school. So whenever they would call to talk to him, he would say that he was at the library. But he said it worked out great because he had a single.
Oh wow, and a more spacious room I'm guessing if it was big enough for two.
Anyways, does that make sense? Like you just get these little tidbits along the way that are just like golden in the big scheme of things. Yeah, you just, you live and learn from your community.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wanted to share a couple of funny things that Finn just brought up because he was
Okay.
making breakfast when I said I'm going to do a podcast, and I thought this was so pretty. He said, one of the weirdest things is having been in the school routine as he knows it, right? Traditional school, summers off for as long as he can remember, right? Like, what are we talking, 12 years or something? And he's like, it is so weird to know that I am not going back to that in the fall.
Ah.
Mhm. And he said, I'm ready. I'm ready for lectures. I'm ready for this new kind of school format because I believe that he and a lot of people really thrive at college. I don't know how you felt about it. I loved like less of that every day, every subject kind of routine. No, it's like, oh, you have one lecture today and then you get to study, just that really wonderful like new schedule. I think he's going to thrive from it.
Mm, I love
Right.
that.
Yeah. The other thing he did say though that is the weird and kind of bitter half of that is that he knows all the people he knew are going to go off, and he doesn't know if all of them are going to come back together. Like, so there's a loss of everyone he's known. And I do believe that you will find your people who you miss the most, right? And I even remember, it's such a trip to think about college because you relive everything in your college. And I remember coming back for breaks and really wanting to seek out the people that I connected with. You crave that, like, similarity and similar background after being away. And I think he'll find that. But I totally honor his grief of, like, everyone and the community I've known is that it's going to be no longer there.
Yes. Absolutely. I love that well, your kiddo has so much emotional intelligence and he's like
Mm,
so connected to that and able to verbalize it, which is such a beautiful gift. So well
mm.
done on behalf of
Thank
the
you.
world.
Oh, thank
Thank you
you.
for bringing another good man into it who knows his
It's
feelings
him.
and
It
can
was
say
in him.
them.
It was in him from day one. I can't take the credit. That's always been Finney's way.
Well, I love that. And I think too, it's such a beautiful time to teach our kiddos about and ourselves about being in the liminal phase, being in that kind of no man's land where the old thing is gone and closed, and we're still having our feelings or pulling ourselves away from it and getting complete. And the new thing hasn't started yet. And so we're in this almost like weightless place, which also happens in grief when we are grieving someone we love, or like who's passed away. So this obviously is very different because they're all alive and well. But I think to teach them and ourselves about who are we and how do we conduct ourselves in that in between phase, like that pre grieving of the friends who may not be there in 5 years when he, if he moves back, say to, to the area and they're not, or he doesn't like them anymore or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, how do we navigate that? And I think yeah, that to me is very enlivening and very sweet, and it's a stage of life that the culture doesn't support. And so I
No.
think we need to be very aware of it and make sure that we're talking about it. And there's just so much good stuff we can learn about ourselves, I think, in that phase.
If we can tolerate that phase, because it's scary. I call it limbo. I love that you call it the liminal. And limbo can be exciting and really scary. And
Yeah,
the joke is, life is limbo, right? We think we know what's next, but we don't actually, right? We really just do have the present moment. So you're right. It is a time of, like, reflection, anticipation that can make us very uneasy, but it is, like you're saying, it's a kind of like, this, if we can tolerate this, this is what it so much of life is actually about, because things can change. You really, you know me, I am such a planner. I want to see things through. I want to know the outcome. I don't know. Finn could go to Southern California and San Diego and say, "This is not for me." Right? He could switch a major. He could decide to do something totally different. So it's really easy to want to start, "Oh, this is going to happen and this and then this." And I think for parents of kids who are kind of launching out of your home, you so want that roadmap for them for your own
yeah,
anxiety about limbo. But the truth is, like, it's it's what you're saying. It's this stage of, like, the journey is the destination. That is what it's going to be. And it's exciting and it's kind of terrifying all at once, you
I
know?
know. I know. Well, I'm so here for you to be on this
Mm,
journey with you, and I'm going to be all up in your space and
bring it.
just to
Bring it.
support you, right? And encourage you in it. It also brings up like, okay, so the constellation is shifting, right? One star is moving, in this other direction. And so there'll be three of you. It changes the gravitational pull of things. It creates so many different dynamics. It'll be so fascinating. You know what it was like back in the day when you were a family of three before your second child was born. Now,
Yes.
now he gets to enjoy being an only child. And so I wonder what that will do in the family, how that will shift and change.
Yeah.
But it also makes me wonder what is being birthed through you now
Oh,
with your firstborn, like, okay, love you, Mom. I'll, see you at Thanksgiving, God
Yeah.
willing. Can't miss those epic Thanksgivings that you guys host. Um, but what's opening? What's showing up for you? You're graduating too on a level. So what do you see? You don't have to know everything, but
Right.
what are you calling in, or what are you hoping is you're graduating up into?
That's so interesting. Two things come to mind, and they're kind of polar opposites. They're like the extrovert part of me and the introvert. The I'll go with the introvert first because that's like she's someone who I'm starting to pay a bit more attention to. I really want to read more. I really want to have air in my tires to read, to learn, to maybe take on a language, to maybe improve my piano, that kind of introverted learning just for myself. I feel like I'll have more air in my tires for that. We'll see. Maybe I'll just be binging on Netflix. But I'm in a book club, which is great. That kind of forces you to read more. And I'm really enjoying that. And I just think sometimes when you're just in go mode with the two kids, that you're like, ooh, all I've got left in my tank at the end of the day is Netflix. And now it's like, ooh, can I open up more of this like part of my brain for just I don't even know yet. I don't know what it's going to look like. I kind of want to see like what kind of things do I want to take on, but I feel that opening up, and that's really exciting. And then the extroverted part of myself wants to do some sort of new performance group that combines music and improv, but isn't exactly musical improv. It's something else, and I do not know what it is. I'm
Mm.
putting it out there to the universe. I'm just kind of it's like it's a baby right now. It's not even a fully formed baby. It's just swimming around. I'm like, I'm not gonna force it. I'm just gonna like it's gonna come when it comes. So that would be so fun with a new group. But all of that is like very different. But those to me feel like the things that I'm most looking forward to filling my time with.
Oh, I love that. I'm here
Oh,
for it.
oh
I can't
wait.
wait to see.
Oh wait, and hold on. One last. I'm like, oh wait, more international travel.
Yes.
As you know, it harder to do international travel with a full family, although Miss Thing has been getting to do some amazing international travel. However, just I'm even kind of excited. Like I think about this after both kids leave, like how fun for me and my husband to kind of start, globe trotting again. We did a bit of that when we were first together. I want to go check some stuff out. So I
Mm.
got a list. I got a
Oh,
list of
I'm
places.
excited. I'm excited. Those are going to be some good postcards to get.
Same question for you, honey bun. What are these stages opening up for you? And have your either of your boys who are also very aware, have they reflected anything about being in this kind of limbo state?
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of processing happening at my house. My kids are so cute. I'm a former therapist, and both my boys, once they really understood, like, we can have free therapy. And I'm like, I'm not your therapist, crazy boys. But we can process till the cows come home. And Lord have mercy, they do. Oh boy, they talk my ear off, and they want to do it all after 9 p.m. I'm like, I
Oh
am no
God.
good after 9 p.m.,
Oh
but
God.
okay. I do
Office
want
is
to keep
closed. Office is
office is
closed.
closed, but except to my children, I keep it open for them. So there's a lot of processing. Yes, that letting go of like, oh, middle school is done. And it was great. It wasn't, it was, yeah, it was all these things, right? And then for my youngest, it's just like he goes through to a K through 8, so it's less dramatic to be in middle
Ah,
school,
that's right. That's
right?
right.
But the school does a really good job of like, okay, I know some of you've been here since kindergarten, but this is different, y'all. We're gonna run things differently. You get different privileges and different expectations. So they do a really good job of that. But he's got his friend group. He's not gonna have that awkward middle school phase,
That's
in the
so
same
nice.
in the
That's
same
so nice.
way. So
Yeah.
For him, it's smoother, but there have been that like, oh, right, I'm not in elementary school anymore. I am, oh, right. So it's very different. And that's
Mhm.
been a whole thing. So a little less dramatic for my youngest. I think more dramatic for my older child. So he's going to a brand new high school. He doesn't know anyone who goes to that high school. So he really gets to reinvent himself. And so there's been a lot of processing
Mhm.
about that. And what did we learn? Sure, there was good stuff and not good stuff about middle school, but what did that teach you? And this is called the liminal phase, where you're in that in between and you're not sure and you're grieving and you're excited. And all the festivities now are over, right? He graduated. That was a big, our school does a really beautiful job of celebrating that. And then we
Mhm.
threw him a little party a week later. And so it was like, yeah. And now it's kind of like, oh, now I got to write my thank you cards. And now
Yep.
it's summer.
Yep.
And who am I and what am I and where am I and what's it going to be? So I think there's a lot more stuff for him. And you've always heard me say this. I really feel like motherhood is this beautiful healing journey if we let it be, because
Mm.
every age our kids are, we get a chance. I think a lot of us get triggered from memories and experiences of that age. And so that's just my other full-time job, is also my own healing work. Right, where was I when I was moving from middle school to high school? What unfinished business do I have? It turns out there's a fair amount.
Oh,
Or
dude.
from letting go of elementary school into middle school. And
Yes.
so
Yes.
I'm getting to do both of those together. And
Yeah.
so like for my younger kid, I'm doing that again a second time. So there's been a lot of healing, a lot of healing work. And this summer, I'm glad that things have sort of gotten quiet. My kids are at
Mhm.
camp. I'm like, oh, okay, because I'm graduating. I graduated too.
Yes.
So to answer your question though, I am calling in, well, I'm just noticing more freedom. So
Mhm.
at our school, I'm that lady who's at the school a lot, rolling up sleeves and helping and volunteering and doing all those things. There's not the same
Well,
level.
Shay is a badass. She's a badass at her school. Let's just say that. She's,
Thank
Miss
you.
Badass. Mhm.
You're sweet. But I love it. I've always been that mom, and I feel very blessed to be able to do that, to devote that level of time and energy into my kids' school.
And I'm that
So
mom when you're like, "Can anyone bring food for the teacher appreciation?" I'm like, "Got it. Bagels, cream cheese. I'm your girl.
she, she's the queen of that.
Tell me what you need."
Yeah. And so there's less of that, like being in the classroom, less of like volunteering in the library or art class or this or that. There's still some field trips, but I don't do the overnights. That's my husband's job.
Mhm.
Um, so middle school will not require that much of me. And
Right.
so I'll still be, doing a lot at school, but more behind the scenes.
Yes.
And which is different, right? I just won't be, my kids are kind of used to like, oh, there's mom in the middle of recess, that my mother is walking through with a box of stuff. There won't be as much of that. So I feel like, oh, I need to graduate from that. i'm
Yeah.
i'm letting go of that elementary school experience. um, but it is inviting me into a lot more freedom.
Mhm.
And my kids still need me, and I think sometimes need me more maybe at this stage, but in a completely different way, more like after
Right.
9 p.m., right, when
Yeah,
everything
right.
is
Right.
quiet.
Right.
And so I'm like, I have more space in my schedule. I do want to shake things up. Okay, yeah. So I'm very excited about that. And so
Yeah.
I'm going to be launching something new, that I'll get a little noisier about soon, but for middle-aged ladies in like this transition. And basically, I'm just designing what I need. I'm like, I
Yeah.
need to be looking at my career in a completely different way. And so
Mm.
I'm just going to take some ladies with me on that journey. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Oh, I'm here for
Um,
that. I am here for that. I'm like, front seat, please. Let's go.
yes,
Front
you're going to
row.
have a front
Front
row seat
row.
in it. I'm so excited for that.
Mm.
But I think like I'm asking a lot of like, who am I now?
Yeah.
Both as a mom, because my work, my career, once I became a mom, has always been centered around my children. I
Yeah.
started my own business so I could be the one raising them. Oh, we're getting hearts. Thank you, Cheryl Ann.
Mm.
I
Mm.
love that. Um, so who am I? Because I've always wanted to be a mom, and now I've done it, and I'm
Yeah.
doing it successfully. I feel like my
You've done it
kids.
so well. You put your
Thank you.
whole flipping heart into it.
Thank
You're phenomenal. You're a phenomenal mom,
Thank
really.
you.
Mhm.
And being a mom is not all of who I am. I waited a long time to be a mom. I'm an older mom. And I
Mhm.
also don't want to. I don't want to lose myself in the role, but I also don't want to. One of my things is like that I developed. My kid was like 2. My first kid was 2. I want to do no regrets parenting. I don't want to have a bunch of regrets. I really
Mhm.
just want to, like, I'm doing this late in life. I'm only getting a chance to do it with these 2. I want to do it right.
Yeah.
And it's not all of who I am.
Right.
I have so much energy and love and passion and like excitement and information, and I'm so different now. I'm
Mhm.
super excited to see who like the big girl Fleshay
Yeah.
is
Yes. Yes.
without the full-time role of mothering. And so I want to start that now because I know for so many women it kind of flattens them. They don't know who they are when their kids move out. And I may have some of that too. You know, I want to make room for that. But I also want to really strengthen me. I want
It's
to come out of this hole.
I love that. It's a transition, and I'll tell you, honey, I've got my antenna up for those ladies who are a bit older than us, who are talking about themselves in that very rich way, who are feeding themselves, right? Who aren't just, and I don't mean just in any negative way, but aren't only still kind of holding on to their family as the center of their universe. There's something so expansive that can happen, about who we become and what our new priorities were or
Yeah.
are. And really that's the gift we give our kiddos too, because we don't want to be hovering over our young adults. They literally need to go out there and figure some shit out. And I'm also a firm believer in you make mistakes and learn from them in your young adulthood. I mean, when I look back at some of my biggest aha moments, it was when I fucked up. It wasn't when I made the right choice and showed up on time and did everything right. It was literally when I really made a mistake that I had an opportunity to grow. And so, even as much as I want to be like, save them, no, this is their life. This is what how they get to start doing stuff through trial and error, and what freedom that's going to open up for us in, frankly, a whole second half of life, sister, if all goes according to plan. And so there's a couple women who I run into when I walk my dogs who are just these cool older ladies, and they're telling me about trips they're taking or classes they're taking, or just being in the moment with their dog. And I'm like, I like you. I want to pick up on this. So I
Yeah.
do think finding those women who are doing it, who are models for that, is really beautiful, because also we know motherhood is complicated. Motherhood in the United States is very complicated. And there are so many weird messages right now about how that's the pinnacle of a woman's existence, and that's all we should live for. And then it's kind of like, well, once you're, kind of done with it, although we're never done. And we know this, we know we're never done. But when you're, technically done, what do you do with yourself? And there is some messaging from society, which is like, you're not really useful anymore. Maybe you're just a grandma, And no, there's this whole world that can open up for us that is really freaking exciting, where we can come back to ourselves. And I do think with our kiddos needing us less, we get to need ourselves more.
Yes.
Ooh,
Yes, yes,
ooh.
yes,
Can we
yes,
put that on a coffee cup? Yes. Yeah.
yes. Yes, please. Yeah, I'm here for that. I think it's so true. And so, what a beautiful thing to get to do that in sisterhood and here with girlfriends of a certain age and all of our online besties,
Yeah.
because this is what it's about, this stage of life, and finding those friends and finding those women who can be on that journey with us and see us.
Yeah.
How can we like see each other, like the core of who we are?
Right.
And we're not our roles. We're not our
No.
roles. We're not our jobs. We're not how much money we have in the bank. We're not where we live. We're not our whole house.
Being a mother or not being a mother does not define us.
No.
Being a guardian, being a foster parent, whatever it is that you're being, that does not define you.
Right.
And so it has been a role that we've lived with for a long time. How do we make sure that the society at large doesn't define us, and how do we make sure that whatever we've internalized from that, how can we kind of unpack that a little bit? I'm curious to see about that.
Yeah, well, let's keep doing it together. I'm just
Yeah.
delighted to be able to talk about graduation and what it means for us now that we're over 50. And to all of the girlfriends watching, let us know what this stirred up for you. Leave us a comment, send us an email through our Substack. We want to hear from you because that is part of your healing journey too, that we can just do that all together in sisterhood.
I have one last little thing to say that I meant to earlier because this one really moves me. I don't know if you've seen some of the videos online where the graduate of high school or college, often it's a college video, takes their robe and hat off and puts it on their parent.
Oh,
Yeah. Also, the ones I've seen a lot lately are from parents who sacrificed a lot, who came from another country, who had to learn a new language, who are working all these jobs, that their kiddos are the ones that are getting to take advantage of, the education here, and that, they sacrificed. They maybe didn't get to have that opportunity. And then you see the child put the freaking hat and robe on, and it's waterworks, but in a funny way, when our, people, our loved ones are graduating, it doesn't even have to be our kids. It could be our nieces, our nephews, whoever it is who's in our life that's doing this. We get to have our own little imaginary cap on because we're going through it as well. And if we've been close to them and if we've been part of their village and their community, we as an extension are graduating with them. So we all need to have our little mini caps and robes. And if you need a good cry, watch one of those videos. It will just, oh. Ugh. And so if you're listening to this too, ladies, or whoever, identifies with us as girlfriends, let us know, like, how are you coping with the bittersweet feeling of graduation? How are you feeling about it? How are you processing it? And all feelings are welcome. Are you bawling your eyes out? Are you ecstatic to go traveling alone again? Like, what is it for you? We would love to know, because that's what this is also about, is community, and hearing from other girlfriends of a certain age about it. So like Lachey said, thanks for listening, and we'd love to hear how you're getting on, because it's how we all get stronger together.
I love that. And I love you. Thank you for
I
being
love
on
you.
the journey with me, girlfriend.
I love you. All right, we're gonna take our little graduation caps and throw them in the air. Woo!
I love it. Till next time, girlfriends. Bye.
Bye.